I invite you to picture a morning where the light through your window feels like a gentle wake-up call rather than a startling alarm. In that quiet space between sleep and wakefulness, you remember that each day is crafted by the habits you maintain and the thoughts you nurture. You realize that life is not just a series of random events, but a tapestry woven from purposeful choices and repeated actions that accumulate over time. Too many people drift through their days on autopilot, responding to external demands without ever pausing to reflect on what truly matters to them. Others, however, learn to direct their attention toward practices that spark growth, build resilience, and create a sense of inner alignment. The difference is not in luck, nor in innate talent, but rather in the daily decisions that shape identity. We all have that same potential, though it often remains dormant until we decide to wake it up with deliberate care. This morning routine of yours, whether you realize it or not, holds incredible power if approached thoughtfully. It can become the platform from which you launch a fulfilling and impactful life. It doesn't mean you must have a perfect system or follow an impossibly rigid schedule. Rather, it's about acknowledging that your first actions set the tone for the rest of the day. By honoring a short moment of reflection or stillness upon waking, you grant yourself a precious interval to ground your mind. In doing so, you instill a sense of direction that can stay with you through challenges, unexpected phone calls, urgent emails, and the multitude of distractions eager to seize your attention. This practice of intentional beginning is an invitation to treat life as a canvas upon which each hour, each conversation, and each choice is a brushstroke contributing to the masterpiece of your own design. When you start embracing awareness in your daily life, you begin to realize that you possess far more influence over your circumstances than you once believed. Life might throw various obstacles your way: a hectic work environment, personal relationship strains, financial pressures, but even amidst these difficulties, your mindset plays a decisive role in determining how you navigate each obstacle. Some people are convinced they have no control over their emotions or their reactions, attributing everything to outside conditions. Others, however, acknowledge their capacity to cultivate perspective, to consciously evaluate how they respond, and even to plan small but effective routines that keep them aligned with long-term visions. You might take a few moments over breakfast to visualize certain goals, quietly affirming your progress toward them. If this sounds trivial, remember that these are not hollow gestures. Intentional thinking rewires your cognitive outlook. Repeated daily, it forms mental habits that shape your emotional climate. In a very real sense, these small mental pivots allow you to remain calm in chaos and resilient under stress. Your outward circumstances may remain chaotic, but you approach them as someone who recognizes an internal sense of agency. This contrast can be profound. Where you once felt powerless, you suddenly feel you have choices in how to act, speak, and carry yourself. That transition from powerlessness to empowerment rests largely on small decisions made consistently, such as deciding how you will greet your morning or how you'll maintain your focus when distractions loom. These daily gestures, while easy to dismiss, become the architecture of your identity, fortifying the walls that keep negativity and doubt from dominating your life. As time passes, you might discover that self-reflection becomes not just a morning practice, but a lens through which you examine your entire day. Instead of letting each hour slip away in a blur of emails and commitments, you develop the habit of pausing to ask, what am I learning from this? How did I respond to that difficult conversation? Why did I feel so frustrated about this unexpected news? These questions are not meant to trap you in guilt or regret. Rather, they serve as gateways to deeper understanding. When you allow yourself to notice your emotional responses, you can glean valuable insights into what drives your behavior. Over time, patterns emerge. You see certain triggers that make you anxious, or certain types of interactions that boost your confidence. This awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you see the patterns, you can decide if they align with who you want to be. If they do not, you have the freedom to adjust them. That choice, the ability to shift your own conduct and mindset, is incredibly liberating. It reminds you that you are never static. You can refine your habits, nurture fresh perspectives, and deliberately grow into the person you wish to become. Such growth isn't always comfortable or quick. There will be days you slip back into old behaviors and nights when you feel stuck in familiar ruts. Nevertheless, each reflection session encourages you to course correct. You develop a sense of patient determination, knowing that the path of self-mastery involves continuous learning rather than overnight perfection. This approach not only nurtures your emotional health, it also strengthens your capacity to tackle complex tasks at work, resolve conflicts in relationships, and manage unpredictability with grace and confidence. Over longer stretches, the patterns of behavior you adopt each morning or each evening begin to compound, showing visible effects in your career performance, interpersonal relationships, and personal well-being. Instead of feeling as though you're perpetually on the edge of exhaustion, you find pockets of calm and clarity that bolster your mental and physical health. It might be as simple as scheduling a daily walk to clear your mind, or committing to reading a few pages of an insightful book before bed. The important element is consistency. The same way compound interest grows wealth over time, consistent personal rituals grow character and resilience. Where others might see these activities as luxuries, you recognize them as investments in your long-term vitality. In many ways, the mind resembles fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant will eventually grow into habits, beliefs, and default reactions to the world. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity or with the distracting chatter of social media, it cultivates anxiety and fear. Conversely, if you deliberately feed it self-reflection, learning, and constructive thinking, you nurture habits that expand your capacity for innovation, empathy, and problem-solving. The natural byproduct is an enhanced level of performance and personal peace. You handle setbacks more calmly, view stressful interactions from a more balanced perspective, and bounce back from failures with renewed purpose. Over time, your default state becomes one of possibility rather than limitation. You worry less about external validations and more about maintaining alignment with your core values, which are continually clarified by your ongoing self-reflection. You'll also begin to see how your ability to set clear priorities transforms not only your productivity but also your sense of fulfillment. There's a critical difference between filling your time with tasks and choosing the tasks that genuinely serve your highest aims. If you look at people who are perpetually busy yet never seem to move forward in meaningful ways, you'll often find they have not established a hierarchy of needs or goals. They spend energy racing through to-do lists without pausing to consider what's truly significant. By contrast, think of a person who carefully selects one or two major targets for the day that align with an overarching vision, maybe working on a creative project, nurturing an important relationship, or improving an essential skill. This individual might complete fewer errands, but the errands they do complete have lasting impact. They end the day feeling accomplished rather than drained. The sense of satisfaction that arises from this purposeful approach enhances motivation, building momentum for the following day. It is a cycle that feeds on its own success. By the same token, the habit of gently discarding tasks that are either trivial or irrelevant to your long-term objectives frees up mental space. This openness to saying no is not an act of selfishness, but rather one of self-preservation and focus. You realize there are only so many hours in a day, and by allocating them wisely, you not only respect your own goals, but also bring higher quality to whatever you do choose to undertake. This approach doesn't imply ignoring urgent responsibilities. It simply means you become the gatekeeper of your time, deciding what truly deserves your attention. The result is a calmer mindset, where the frantic energy of busyness is replaced by the steady energy of meaningful action. With clarity in place, the practice of visualization can be an extraordinary accelerator for your personal and professional transformation. Visualization is like rehearsing success in your mind before it materializes in your external life. Far from being daydreaming, it's a scientifically supported method that elite athletes and high achievers use to elevate performance. By mentally simulating an important presentation at work or an upcoming marathon, you train your brain to be prepared for the actual event. You picture yourself navigating challenges effortlessly, see the audience nodding in agreement during your speech, or imagine your legs carrying you steadily across the finish line. Your mind, in essence, becomes your personal coach, mapping out each movement or sentence to minimize surprises and anxiety when you step into reality. The key is to be as detailed and sensory-rich as possible. See the colors in the room, feel the temperature, notice your posture, and even hear the words you're going to say. That deep immersion ensures your subconscious stores the mental blueprint of success. Then, when you're actually living the scenario, it feels oddly familiar, and your confidence is heightened. Another remarkable aspect is how visualization can keep you motivated over the long haul. If your vision involves a significant career leap, daily mental practice can sustain your drive through the inevitable setbacks. You stay connected to the vivid image of what you're striving for, which energizes you to keep taking incremental steps forward. There's also a self-fulfilling element. As you repeatedly picture yourself achieving a goal, you're more inclined to notice opportunities and resources that can help you realize that goal because your mind is actively primed for it. This synergy between mental rehearsal and real-life action can become a powerful catalyst for all kinds of achievements. From personal fitness milestones to launching a business or forging new paths and relationships. In parallel with visualization, there is the profound influence of self-talk on performance and self-esteem. Many people underestimate the power of their internal dialogue, dismissing negative chatter as harmless mental noise. Yet the words and phrases running through your mind shape your emotional state and inform your body language, which in turn influences how others perceive and respond to you. If your inner voice constantly criticizes you, calling you unworthy or incompetent, you unconsciously dampen your willingness to take risks or pursue bigger goals. On the other hand, deliberate, affirming statements about your abilities can shift your entire emotional baseline. You might tell yourself, "I am constantly learning and adapting," or "I have the courage to overcome obstacles one step at a time." While these statements may feel awkward at first if you aren't accustomed to them, repeated affirmations form a new mental script that over time feels natural and genuine. They don't need to be grandiose lies or superficial flattery. They can be grounded truths about your potential and your capacity to grow. Affirmations are powerful because they work hand in hand with your actions. The more you speak kindly to yourself, the more you're inclined to take action that aligns with these beliefs. You feel more resilient when setbacks occur because your internal dialogue reminds you that a setback does not define your abilities. There is a sense of optimism that emerges when your own thoughts champion your progress rather than tear it down. Over weeks and months, this positive script can mean the difference between stagnation and the courage to try new things, push beyond your comfort zone, and pursue uncharted opportunities. It's more than just thinking happy thoughts. It's building an internal support system that keeps you on track even when external circumstances are tough. All of these mental and emotional practices flourish when coupled with a commitment to intentional learning. The world is vast and constantly evolving, offering a wealth of knowledge that can spark fresh perspectives and open new doors if you actively seek it out. Learning is not restricted to formal education. It can be as simple as reading a few pages of a thought-provoking book, listening to an inspiring podcast, observing how a mentor handles certain challenges, or taking an online course in a subject you find intriguing. The essence of intentional learning is that you approach each day with curiosity, hunting for lessons in everything from a brief chat with a colleague to a new piece of technology you encounter. In doing so, you foster an adaptable mindset, one prepared to handle the ever-shifting demands of the modern world. This adaptability is a hallmark of successful individuals. They aren't bound to old methods just because those methods once worked. They remain flexible, pivoting whenever necessary, and steadily absorbing insights to keep themselves relevant. Moreover, intentional learning goes beyond career or or personal growth. It broadens your worldview, deepens your empathy, and enriches your understanding of life's complexities. For instance, learning about different cultures or historical periods can spark creative solutions to present-day dilemmas. Exploring fields outside your primary expertise, such as psychology, neuroscience, or even art, can yield unexpected inspirations that help you excel in your chosen path. The consistent pursuit of knowledge elevates your conversations, fuels innovative thinking, and even improves how you manage relationships. Over time, people may turn to you for advice or collaboration, seeing you as someone who is knowledgeable, resourceful, and ever-evolving. This aura of continual growth can attract opportunities and reinforce your sense of purpose. Hand in hand with perpetual learning is the practice of gratitude. As you gather knowledge and set ambitious goals, it can be easy to fall into a trap of constantly chasing the next milestone and never pausing to appreciate what you already have. Gratitude provides a balancing counterweight, grounding you in the recognition that each day offers gifts worth celebrating. These gifts could be as simple as a heartfelt conversation, a beautiful sunset, or the dependable support of a friend who shows up when you need it. By reflecting daily on the aspects of life you are thankful for, you shift your focus from scarcity to abundance. That mental shift can be transformative, softening your frustration when faced with obstacles and helping you appreciate how far you've come. Gratitude also fosters resilience because it reminds you of the resources at your disposal, whether that's your own creativity, supportive loved ones, or prior successes that prove your capacity for triumph. People often speak about the emotional health benefits of gratitude, including reduced stress, improved sleep, and increased overall well-being. Yet it's also worth noting how a grateful mindset makes you more approachable and collaborative. When you regularly express genuine thanks, you build goodwill with others and invite them to reciprocate. Gratitude can form the bedrock of powerful professional networks and cherished friendships alike. When you practice gratitude, you're also teaching yourself to notice nuances in your daily experience. Instead of rushing through life on autopilot, you learn to pause, savor small joys, and gather the emotional energy they offer. Genuine connections with other people amplify many of these benefits. Life is ultimately relational, even for the most independent among us. Relationships contribute to happiness, growth, and opportunities in ways that solitary effort often cannot. Yet forging and maintaining meaningful connections requires a specific kind of intention, one that includes being truly present for others, listening attentively to what they say, and offering support when it's needed. Too often we get wrapped up in our own agendas and forget that human bonds are nourished by shared moments of vulnerability and empathy. When you make a daily commitment to connect, perhaps by reaching out to someone you appreciate, or by having a deep conversation with a family member, you strengthen a sense of belonging that helps you face life's trials. These personal rituals of connection might feel small, such as an encouraging text message or a 10-minute phone call, but over time, they weave a tapestry of trust and warmth that can sustain you. This approach also broadens your perspective. By hearing about other people's challenges and triumphs, you learn from their insights and experiences. You gain empathy for struggles you haven't personally lived through. You open your mind to alternative viewpoints, which can be beneficial not only on a personal level, but also in work settings where collaboration hinges on understanding diverse opinions. If you deliberately surround yourself with supportive, growth-minded individuals, your environment becomes a catalyst for self-improvement. By the same token, the positive energy and insights you bring into your relationships can lift others, creating a beneficial cycle of reciprocal inspiration and encouragement. All of these daily efforts culminate in a more holistic approach when you make giving an integral part of your routine. Giving extends well beyond material generosity. It might involve lending your time, sharing your expertise, or offering an encouraging ear when someone is going through a difficult period. This is not only uplifting for the recipient, but also deeply rewarding for you. The act of giving affirms that you have something valuable to share, reinforcing your sense of worth and capability. It also strengthens community ties, whether on a small scale, like among neighbors, or a larger scale, such as within professional networks. From a psychological standpoint, contributing to the well-being of others releases dopamine, and fosters positive emotions that can energize you for days. You notice that when you help someone succeed, you're indirectly motivating yourself to keep moving forward. This synergy can lead to both emotional and professional reciprocity, as those you help often become your biggest advocates. In time, your willingness to serve can blossom into a reputation that opens new doors. While building your career or personal ambition, it's easy to forget the importance of simply being there for others in a genuine capacity. Yet the more you engage in such acts, the clearer it becomes that the road to fulfillment is not a solitary one. We exist in networks of interdependence, where our own achievements often hinge on the collaborative spirit of others. Therefore, cultivating a habit of giving, whether through volunteering, mentoring, or supporting friends, generates a ripple effect of goodwill. The intangible rewards, such as a sense of unity and deeper ties to your community, often exceed any tangible gains you might receive. This shapes your worldview, allowing you to see not just a world of competing interests, but one that thrives on cooperation and mutual uplift. When you reflect upon all these interconnected habits, regular self-reflection, focused priorities, vivid visualization, supportive self-talk, continual learning, gratitude, meaningful connections, and daily giving, you may recognize that each element acts as a gear in a grand mechanism of personal evolution. Neglecting one gear can slow the entire system. Embracing them all, however, can propel you forward in ways that feel both balanced and vigorous. There's a sense of harmony that arises when you realize that each practice reinforces the others. Learning new skills boosts your confidence, which translates into more optimistic self-talk. Positive self-talk encourages you to connect with others and express gratitude. This gratitude, in turn, deepens your relationships and fosters the spirit of giving, creating a virtuous cycle that impacts your well-being, your career, and the lives of those around you. Over time, you notice that even your biggest challenges become opportunities for growth, as your daily habits equip you with resilience and a clear perspective. You no longer see obstacles as insurmountable barriers. You see them as stepping stones that can teach you something valuable. Disappointments might still hurt, but they don't derail you, because your emotional foundation is more robust. You have built an internal feedback loop that offers both stability and the capacity for adaptation. Each day, each experience, each conversation becomes another piece of the evolving puzzle that is your life, and you approach this ongoing creation with curiosity and determination. The truly transformative aspect of these practices is that they do not require extraordinary resources or privilege. Whether you're just beginning your career or you're a seasoned professional, whether you're juggling family responsibilities or living solo, these are choices you can integrate into your existing routine. The cost is measured in moments of mindfulness rather than money. For instance, writing down a few morning affirmations takes little more than a pen, paper, and a couple of minutes. Yet the shift in mindset can reverberate through your day. Similarly, reaching out to a friend or coworker with a sincere compliment or message of support takes seconds, but it can strengthen a relationship that may offer collaborative opportunities or emotional encouragement. Learning and reflection can happen during a daily commute or a quiet moment before bed. Gratitude can be as brief as pausing over a cup of coffee to appreciate the warmth in your hands or the aroma that gently awakens your senses. Ultimately, these practices may look humble on the surface, but their cumulative effect is anything but small. They represent a conscious decision to shape your life experience from the inside out, to grow into the best version of yourself, and to contribute meaningfully to your environment. Over weeks and months, you start to notice that your baseline emotional state leans toward calm and optimism rather than tension and dread. You handle disagreements without escalating them into confrontations. You make decisions rooted in clarity instead of panic. You harness your time more effectively, focusing on tasks that lead to actual progress toward your dreams. Even people around you notice a shift, commenting on your composure or your ability to navigate crises with steadiness. This is not about projecting a perfect image. You might still stumble or have days when frustration gets the better of you. The real difference is in how quickly you recalibrate, drawing upon your established habits to regain equilibrium. You feel anchored by these choices, like a ship that can weather the storm because its anchor holds firm. That anchor is a combination of intentional reflection, gratitude, prioritization, and a willingness to keep learning no matter how advanced you become. With time, your sense of self-efficacy grows, and you begin to see that personal growth is not a finite destination, but an ongoing adventure. This journey often unlocks a powerful desire to guide or mentor others, to share your insights with those who might benefit. You find that supporting another person on their path not only reinforces your own lessons, but also helps form a community of mutual empowerment. Suddenly, you're no longer on this path alone. You have a circle of like-minded individuals who exchange knowledge, celebrate each other's victories, and offer compassion when difficulties arise. This environment of shared progress accelerates everything. Ideas flow more freely, encouragement is abundant, and collaborations spark new ventures and personal breakthroughs. At a deeper level, you begin to see these daily disciplines as more than self-improvement hacks. They become a way of being. Each habit has a broader spiritual or philosophical dimension if you choose to explore it. Reflection can turn into mindfulness or contemplative prayer, letting you probe the meaning behind your experiences. Gratitude can become a practice of humility and reverence for life's generosity. Learning might guide you toward existential or creative inquiries, expanding not just your skill set, but your worldview. Kind self-talk can evolve into a sincere appreciation for the miracle of simply being alive. Meanwhile, forging genuine connections can develop your sense of compassion and empathy on a global scale, motivating you to engage in activism or community service. Giving becomes an expression of love and a recognition of our shared humanity. In these higher expressions, your day-to-day rituals become portals to a richer, more soulful existence. You find yourself more attuned to nature's rhythms, more connected to your community's welfare, and more at peace in the face of uncertainty. You start to embody the values you once only idealized, translating lofty concepts like love, kindness, and wisdom into tangible behaviors that define the rhythm of your days. Even so, you remain grounded, understanding that life inevitably includes pain, loss, and disappointment. Yet, bolstered by these foundational practices, you face hardships with greater resilience, perceiving them as part of the universal human experience rather than a sign that you've failed. You rely on your reflection habit to process the emotional weight, your affirmations to recall your inherent capacity to heal, and your connections to provide a safety net of empathy and support. This integrated approach to navigating adversity often reveals silver linings or at least constructive lessons hidden in the chaos. Over time, you form a narrative that adversity does not define you, it refines you. This perspective can offer hope even in the darkest moments, allowing you to keep taking small steps forward when others might succumb to despair. Those who witness your resilience may in turn feel inspired to handle their own challenges differently. In this way, the personal transformations you cultivate ripple outward, subtly influencing family, friends, colleagues, and even strangers who observe your composure and clarity. Your understanding of success evolves. Rather than defining it solely by external metrics such as job titles, income levels, or social status, you start to appreciate the internal markers that reflect genuine well-being. You may still pursue professional achievements, but you recognize that success also includes how well you maintain meaningful relationships, how balanced your mental state remains, and whether your actions align with your values. Each time you set a fresh goal, you do so within the framework of your daily rituals, ensuring the pursuit does not derail your emotional stability or ethical commitments. You become skilled at harmonizing ambition with mindful living, recognizing that external accolades are hollow if they come at the cost of your integrity or peace of mind. This balanced viewpoint naturally enhances your effectiveness in every domain of life. When crises happen at work, you tackle them without losing sight of your personal well-being or the humanity of those involved. When conflicts arise at home, You approach them with the willingness to listen and compromise, upholding the emotional safety of your loved ones. In short, your rituals have cultivated a sense of wholeness that weaves through all your roles: professional, familial, social, and personal. This integrative way of living ensures that each domain of your life benefits from the positivity and wisdom gleaned from the others, reducing the friction that people often experience when they segregate their public and private selves. In time, you realize that living with integrity across all these spheres is one of the most satisfying achievements imaginable. Naturally, there will be seasons when motivation flags. Perhaps a demanding project drains your energy, or personal circumstances change, making it more difficult to maintain your usual rituals. In these times, remember that perfection is never the objective. Consistency is. If you find yourself skipping a day of journaling or forgetting to express gratitude, it doesn't invalidate the progress you've already made. Instead, it becomes an invitation to gently return to your habits at the next possible opportunity. Self-compassion is key here. Berating yourself for every slip is counterproductive and can even sabotage the entire framework of daily growth. Instead, you use self-talk and reflection to remind yourself of the bigger picture, that you're on a lifelong journey, and the occasional stumble is part of the process. By maintaining this gentle, understanding attitude toward yourself, you become less likely to let a minor lapse devolve into a permanent abandonment of your beneficial habits. This resilience in returning to your practices exemplifies the heart of sustainable personal development. Rather than extreme all-or-nothing approaches, you adopt a flexible yet committed stance. In doing so, your habits become a natural extension of who you are, not a strict regimen that you grudgingly endure. As you deepen these daily practices, you may also become more attuned to the interplay between inner growth and outward impact. The version of you that invests in self-reflection and self-improvement eventually becomes the kind of leader or collaborator who uplifts teams, projects, and entire communities. By modeling emotional stability, intellectual curiosity, and compassionate conduct, you quietly motivate those around you to cultivate similar habits. They might start incorporating mini reflection sessions after meetings, or setting aside time for gratitude in the workplace. Some might begin reading more, aligning their professional pursuits with personal growth objectives. Others notice your more composed responses under stress and decide to emulate your communication style. In these ways, one person's commitment to daily transformation can cascade into a culture shift in families, offices, or social groups. This expanded influence does not usually manifest in dramatic announcements, but through the subtle yet powerful effect of leading by example. People see that you aren't just talking about positivity or curiosity. You embody it in your actions and your demeanor. Over time, this can foster an environment where team members communicate openly, provide mutual support, and remain open to feedback, thus promoting a cycle of continual improvement and collaboration. If at any point you look back and wonder how far you've come, the key metric is not how many times you performed a specific ritual, but whether your perspective on life has fundamentally shifted. Do you wake up with more optimism than worry? Are you able to manage conflicts in a way that fosters solutions instead of animosity? Do you find yourself speaking encouraging words to your friends and colleagues rather than indulging in gossip or pessimism? These are the real markers that signal growth. The external world will always have complexities and difficulties, but you move through it with greater poise, less reactivity, and an open heart. You may even notice that certain stressors no longer carry the same emotional charge they once did. Something that would have triggered panic or anger a year ago might now evoke a calmer, more analytical response. This is how you gauge the internal shifts that each daily ritual fosters, shifts that cannot be fully measured by productivity apps or to-do lists, but that you experience through your evolving emotional climate and mental clarity. The intangible transformations, such as a deeper sense of purpose, a warmer attitude toward yourself, and a more inclusive sense of empathy, represent the essence of a life intentionally designed. These benefits ripple into every aspect of your day. You find that your relationships blossom, not necessarily because you've changed others, but because you've changed how you listen, how you respond, and how you behave. Old old resentments may slowly dissolve in the face of your willingness to approach conflicts with empathy. Friendships might deepen as you show consistent care. Even professional alliances improve as you remain open to constructive feedback and genuinely value the input of your peers. In some cases, you discover that certain relationships no longer fit the person you are becoming, and you gain the clarity and courage to set boundaries or gently let them go. While this can be painful, the result is often greater alignment between your personal values and the relationships you maintain. The same clarity may also drive new opportunities toward you, jobs that resonate with your sense of meaning, partnerships founded on mutual respect, and creative projects that feel like a natural extension of your evolving self. When you've organized your daily life around these positive practices, you essentially broadcast a sense of direction, confidence, and kindness. People who gravitate toward those qualities begin to enter your sphere. However, none of this implies that personal growth is always a comfortable journey. Indeed, developing deeper self-awareness can illuminate patterns you previously overlooked, such as ingrained fears, limiting beliefs, or destructive coping mechanisms. A daily reflection practice can bring these issues to the surface, forcing you to confront them. That confrontation can be unsettling, yet it is precisely through acknowledging these shadows that you gain the power to transform them. You might decide to seek professional help, like therapy, or rely on trustworthy mentors, or dive more deeply into spiritual practices, anything that helps you navigate the rough waters of emotional healing. It's essential to remember that encountering and working through these internal challenges is a sign that your daily rituals are doing their job. They're unearthing hidden layers of your psyche, enabling you to process them consciously rather than letting them fester in the background. This process often leads to deeper authenticity and a greater capacity for compassion, both for yourself and for others going through their own struggles. By embracing the fact that growth includes both light and darkness, you can stand more confidently in your journey, free from the illusion that personal evolution is exclusively about positivity. Rather, it's about integrating every facet of your experience, both the uplifting and the difficult, into a coherent narrative of continuous becoming. As you proceed, you'll likely refine your habits to match new insights. Perhaps what started as a simple 5-minute reflection each night evolves into a structured journaling session that also includes gratitude lists and short mindfulness meditations. Maybe your approach to learning becomes more targeted, focusing on skill sets that directly contribute to your professional goals or philanthropic interests. Visualization, too, may shift in scope. Initially, you may have visualized short-term achievements, such as performing well in a particular meeting. But over time, you might incorporate long-range visions, such as leading a groundbreaking initiative in your field or playing an instrumental role in your community's betterment. This evolution is natural. It demonstrates that you're not static. You're continuously recalibrating your methods to suit your expanding awareness. Far from being monotonous, this adaptability keeps your routine engaging and ensures that it remains in harmony with who you are becoming. Each day, you gather new information about your preferences, your capabilities, and your boundaries. You then fold this information back into your habits, refining them and maximizing their impact on your life. Eventually, you come to realize that the essence of these practices lies not in strict adherence to any single ritual, but in the overarching attitude of intentionality they collectively foster. The specific shape of your routine may look different from someone else's because of personality differences, life circumstances, or cultural context. Yet the underlying principle remains consistent. By consciously choosing how to spend your mental and emotional energy, you shape your lived reality. This principle transcends language barriers, socioeconomic status, and even generational gaps. It's a universal truth that daily actions and mindset converge to create our personal experience of life. Whether you're a teenager exploring your identity, a working professional juggling responsibilities, or a retiree enjoying a slower pace, the opportunity to craft a meaningful existence is always within reach. In that sense, this journey is profoundly democratic. Everyone, regardless of external resources, can choose to reflect on their life, express gratitude for small blessings, and show kindness to themselves and others. The magnitude of these choices might seem subtle at first, but as they accumulate, they can lead to profound personal breakthroughs and, by extension, collective transformation when enough individuals adopt them. In the end, what began as a set of isolated practices weaves itself into the story of who you are. You find that your sense of identity is no longer rooted in external labels or fleeting accomplishments, but in the ever-evolving interplay of reflection, learning, gratitude, compassion, resilience, and service. You start to see yourself as an active participant in the grand narrative of humanity, where each of us holds a piece of the puzzle, and our contributions, however small they may seem, are integral to the whole. This awareness allows you to be both humble, realizing you are part of something larger, and empowered, understanding that your unique voice and actions matter. By integrating these daily rituals, you free yourself from a purely reactive stance toward life. Instead, you become a conscious co-creator of your experiences. You don't merely wish for better days. You lay the groundwork for them every morning, every afternoon, and every evening, allowing incremental progress to accumulate into significant change over time. And as you do, you become an example of what is possible when discipline, curiosity, and compassion intersect. It is then that the real magic happens. The line between personal development and broader social impact blurs, and you understand that your personal growth fuels a ripple effect that touches everyone you interact with. You realize that each day, each habit, and each conversation can propel you to a richer, more purposeful existence, one that not only benefits you, but also resonates with others striving for the same sense of meaningful advancement. In those moments of clarity, you'll often feel a surge of gratitude for having discovered that everyday life can be a playground for transformation. Where monotony once reigned, possibility now blossoms. Where stress once dominated your mood, calm and curiosity begin to prevail. While you remain a work in progress, you also stand as a testament to the remarkable shifts that can occur when a person commits wholeheartedly to small, intentional steps. And that, in essence, is the true power behind these daily rituals. They serve as tools through which we expand our horizons, refine our character, nurture deeper connections, and leave a gentle but meaningful imprint on the world. With each sunrise, you're reminded that the path of growth is open-ended, and that every choice, however minor it seems, contributes to the grand mosaic of your life. If that isn't worth dedicating your time and energy to, then what is? Pausing here, consider the sum of these ideas not as isolated fragments, but as interconnected threads designed to reinforce one another. It is the interplay, the synergy among reflection, prioritization, visualization, affirmations, learning, gratitude, connection, and giving that creates the powerful current capable of sweeping you into a state of flourishing. It's a process you live rather than a list you check off. The moment you slip, you forgive yourself and continue. The moment you grow complacent, you challenge yourself again. Bit by bit, your perspective evolves from seeing these rituals as mere tasks to seeing them as part of the fabric of your identity. And in that shift, you harness one of life's greatest truths. Consistent, mindful effort can bring about extraordinary change. Although the details of your daily schedule may look different from someone else's, the core principle choosing purposeful habits that elevate your sense of self and your contribution holds universal appeal. Once you accept and embody this principle, you may find that the horizon of your aspirations expands almost effortlessly. You feel an inner permission to dream bolder dreams because you have a stable foundation to support them. Likewise, any fear of failure softens as you realize that each misstep is simply another opportunity to refine your habits and deepen your understanding of yourself. Thus, the cycle of growth continues, fueled by an engine of curiosity and compassion that never truly runs out of steam. This is the path you walk, day after day, forging a life that resonates with your highest ideals and resonates with the collective heart of those around you. In the quiet moments, remember this is not just about self-optimization for the sake of personal gain. It's about realizing you have something valuable to offer the world, and that by improving yourself, you amplify your ability to uplift others. This perspective encourages you to move beyond self-centered pursuits, integrating your goals with a sense of responsibility toward the broader community. Whether that community is your family, your workspace, or a global audience, your daily habits prepare you to serve, lead, and collaborate more effectively. Over time, the synergy between self-development and altruism can create an extraordinary sense of fulfillment that eludes those who confine their ambitions solely to personal success. From this vantage point, every day becomes both a gift and an assignment, a gift of breath, time, and potential, and an assignment to use them wisely in a manner that enriches your life and the lives of others. You gradually embody the adage that the greatest fulfillment lies in being useful, compassionate, and continuously engaged in the adventure of growth. Should you encounter times of doubt, when the routines feel burdensome or the outcomes uncertain, hold on to the knowledge that change of this magnitude rarely follows a linear path. It's often 2 steps forward, 1 step back, a spiral rather than a straight line. Reflect again on why you started: the desire to feel more alive, to see tangible improvements in your mindset and your connections, to craft a life of intentionality rather than one shaped by accident. Revisit your journal notes, your affirmations, the supportive words of friends and mentors, and the memories of earlier Win 7, if they seemed small. Each piece of evidence reminds you that progress is very real, even if it sometimes unfolds slower than you'd prefer. Resilience is built in these moments, the times when you keep going despite lacking immediate gratification. This is where your consistency is truly tested, and where the virtues of patience and perseverance flourish. By maintaining faith in the process, you eventually pass through whatever slump or challenge you face, emerging stronger and more convinced of the enduring power of your daily rituals. Their capacity to ground and guide you becomes evident, not in the absence of struggle, but in your enhanced ability to carry on with your purpose intact. As you reflect on everything discussed, take a moment to appreciate the breadth of possibility that lies ahead. You have the means to shape each morning, each midday break, each evening wind down in a way that fortifies your spirit and nourishes your intellect. You decide to approach life not as a passive receiver of circumstances, but as an active participant who respects the interplay between inner discipline and external opportunity. In your journey, you'll likely see that these practices not only foster self-improvement, but also weave you more deeply into the fabric of community, fueling a sense of belonging and shared destiny. You might be the spark that encourages someone else to pick up a book, start a gratitude journal, or muster the courage to speak encouraging words to themselves for the first time. The ripples you create can carry forward in ways you'll never fully witness, extending far beyond your immediate circle. That is the quiet power of living intentionally. Its impact often transcends your personal scope, merging with the efforts and energies of countless others who are also on a quest to become their best selves. Together, these ripples can evolve into waves that reshape social norms, workplace cultures, and community values toward greater empathy, understanding, and collaboration. This is the promise. By investing in consistent daily practices that refine your focus, amplify your gratitude, expand your knowledge, and deepen your capacity to connect and give, you essentially create a greenhouse for your evolution. The environment you build around yourself is conducive to growing the qualities you cherish. In time, you look back and see just how far you've come, not by dramatic leaps, but by steady, purposeful steps. And you realize that this steady approach was the most reliable way to make lasting transformations, ones that resist the wear of time and the unpredictability of life. You stand at a vantage point, able to see not only your own journey, but the broad panorama of what is possible when a person decides to shape their reality from within. Each new day arrives with fresh opportunities, and you stand ready to greet them, anchored by the rituals that have become second nature, sustained by the vibrant network of relationships you've cultivated, and fueled by a spirit of gratitude and generosity that you've painstakingly nurtured along the way. In embracing all of this, you confirm a simple yet profound truth. You are not powerless. No matter where you start, no matter what challenges you face, you hold the capacity to change your habits, your mindset, and your sense of purpose by dedicating yourself to practices that enhance every dimension of your being. Through repeated action, reflection, and learning, you turn ephemeral goals into tangible realities. One well-chosen moment at a time. That is the essence of real, sustainable personal transformation. It does not happen in a singular flash of inspiration, but in the persistent daily application of attitudes and routines that align with your highest aspirations. Over the long arc of a lifetime, these small efforts compose a grand symphony of self-actualization, service, and fulfillment, rendering you not just a spectator but a composer of your destiny. Embrace these habits with openness and commitment, and watch as they gradually unlock doors to experiences, relationships, and heights of well-being you once only dared imagine. Above all, never forget the privilege and responsibility that accompany conscious living. The privilege of shaping your own path, and the responsibility of using your growth to bring forth a more compassionate, enlightened world for everyone you touch.